Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Frustrated Berry Marketing Podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about the Stanley Cup or Stanley Tumbler. You've probably heard about it from your friends. And if you're in the marketing world, you've probably read some case studies about it. It's one of the most interesting things out there in marketing today. We're going to talk a little bit about the history of Stanley as a company, a little bit about what happened in, I believe it started in, it was 2020 or 2019, actually.
Yeah, when the craze started happening.
When the craze really started happening and how a brand that's over 100 years old pivoted from a male-dominated audience to a female-dominated audience and increased their revenue by 10 times by doing that. So that's what we're going to talk about today.
Such a crazy switch to see it go from primarily marketing to men to now primarily marketing to women. It's a crazy jump, I feel like, that we haven't really seen a whole lot of in the marketing world.
Absolutely. And this is heavy. Like I put water in this.
I was always wondering, I've never held one before.
It's 40 ounces. I mean, the only thing that I knew had 40 ounces was malt liquor. So it's like really a lot of water. I don't know why anybody needs this much water at any one time, but it's kind of like an arm workout.
So then since you just held up yours, I'm a Hydro Flask fan through and through.
Okay.
I don't understand the hype with Stanley, not to say that there's anything wrong with it, but this is so easy to carry around. I've had this for 3 years. So it's my buddy to the rock climbing gym, hiking, all those fun places. It's always near me. I feel like it's just easier than having to hold a handle. So
yeah, it is. I mean, I guess you could put coffee in there. I don't drink water almost at all. So I have, this is my buddy.
It does. It is funny how it does really help to have, a reusable water bottle for sure.
Yeah. I mean, not that I don't have them. I just don't use them.
Mm-hmm. And I'm still terrible about drinking water, even though it's near me all the time.
Yeah.
There's something about just like having it, which I guess is understandable with this Stanley Cup craze. For everybody listening, I did think when Jim originally asked if I wanted to do the Stanley Cup podcast episode, I did think it was hockey.
Right. And that's one
We're
of
going to talk about the Stanley Cup for hockey. So
right. And no, we are not. And that's one of the puns that I've read in pretty much every article that I've read about this. And no, it's different. And I guess it's not technically a cup. It's a tumbler or a quencher, the Stanley Quencher. That's the one that has started all the craze. But it wasn't always a craze. And, so one of the things I want to talk about is how this has become fashion. And that's why something that is very mundane and, not that you can't spend more than $10 on something like this. I think that it goes, this 40 ounce version goes for like $45. So, if you have a Yeti, I have a Yeti coffee mug that I love. Those cost $40.
I was going to say, I think my Hydro Flask was around there too.
Yeah. So I'm not
price range.
I guess the conversation is not like, why would someone spend $40 on something like this? Like, that's a different conversation. But why so many people and why such a craze and why
are they collecting them?
Right. Why are they collecting them?
That's the crazy thing.
Which is a good segue so Madison found this video. I'm going to share my screen here for a second and I'll show you how crazy it can be. Okay. So this is the video she found. So this is how crazy a collection can be. I will start this. Lindsay Harbison obviously is maybe the biggest fan of Stanley Cup out there.
This is just insane to me. Like, why? I mean, I guess it's just like collecting anything.
That's it. Not that it's Beanie Babies, but in a way it's Beanie Babies. I think it's more similar to like Ugg boots or the purse of the moment or the shoes of the moment. I mean, fashion is all about, the marketing for the fashion industry is all about getting someone to buy something that they already have and convincing them that what they had from last year is no longer good and what they have for this year is now
need to
better.
Buy the latest editions, latest version. But that's the interesting thing. I did find something that said they have almost risen to a popularity of Beanie Babies, which is crazy because that craze went on in the 90s. So just thinking about that is insane that it's risen to that popularity because now they're marketing to women.
Because they're marketing. So that's part of the conversation. They pivoted from men to women. And, not that you have to pivot your audience in order to grow, but they listen to their audience, and they now have, they didn't want to have female colors, if you that's such a thing. They wanted their classic green and so on, and they now have these nice pastel-y colors. And it, the friend that got Sky this for her birthday, she has a number of them and does match them to her outfit. So she got the one that I held up was this one's
so
like
crazy
tan, and the reason why is it'll match every outfit. That was the reasoning behind it. But her friend Teresa, who got it for her, has them in all bright colors to match different outfits. So like
it does match your atmosphere right now, like your office. So
yeah, it's pretty classic, I think. As far as an overpriced fashion accessory will be. So.
Which is funny because I didn't even, like I said, I don't follow the brand at all. I mean, I've seen countless videos of influencers and things using the Stanley cups, but it wasn't until I started doing research that I realized my dad always took the generic green thermos camping with us. And that's what we used for hot chocolate when we went up the hill from where our house was and did, sledding and things like that. And that was always the thing that we took. But back then, it was primarily marketed to men. I mean, it was a huge thing in World War II, which makes sense on why my dad loved it because, he's a military guy through and through.
So I looked this up. Let me share my screen again. Is this what he had right here? Was it this one right here? Like the classic. This is what I found as the classic. So $35 classic.
Yep.
Definitely not a female-centric design. So I can see why they weren't selling to women before. But the Quencher, the one that's there now, is or the one that's so popular right now, obviously has dozens of colors, and I think why it became a marketing story this year is because of the sort of chaos behind the lack of availability. So Target had a limited edition run and Starbucks had a limited edition run, and people were going crazy. And there's another video of people sort of like almost a Black Friday type storming the
it's insane,
storming the shelves to get this limited edition run. That's how insane it's gotten.
And I saw another video on TikTok of a girl that it was probably one of the Target runs, I'm guessing, when they had their limited edition. It was like the pink or the red cups, but she has bruises all over her legs because people were so violent in a mob to get these Stanley cups. And I know Stanley Cup too, they now have a thing where if a limited edition comes out, it's like a 2-cup limit per person, because people were going in collecting as many as they possibly could and then selling them on eBay and Amazon for $300+ because they were limited edition.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I've definitely seen that. I read the other day that somebody got arrested for stealing a cup, 30 of them or 50 of them from Target, with the purpose of reselling them because, their Target's not selling them for $200. It's being resold on eBay for $200. And so, yeah, it's gotten, this is probably the pinnacle of that. But I think for marketing, the thing that's super interesting is why something like this would happen. And I think it really goes back to the fact that it's fashion. Because yes, I saw the video where it survived, a car fire. I don't know if you saw that one when you were doing your research, but somebody had a Stanley Cup in their car and there was a car fire and they took it out.
Well, they should be careful with that then, because I did see another article about Stanley Cups having lead in them.
Oh,
so they do have a protective coating on the inside. So the lead is apparently what helps keep it like cold or hot or whatever you put in it. So I did see though, I mean, you're pretty much protected unless your Stanley Cup gets damaged somehow and that coating comes off.
Okay.
So I've also seen that lead has been a huge talk right now in the news also.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we're talking about it. I mean, I've seen and read dozens of articles about the Stanley Cup or the Stanley Tumbler or whatever you want to call it. Like it has taken the marketing world by storm. Like people are just, and it's obviously been going on for a really long time. So why now I think is because of this Target craze. The history is, let me see if I can find when this was. So it was, when did the Buy Guide? Okay, so the Buy Guide is the company that purchase stuff from Stanley. So if I understood the story right, the Buy Guide was a mom blog. I believe they're out of Utah. They loved it. They started talking about it. It was really hard for them to get it. They reached out to Stanley and tried to do some sort of affiliate marketing thing because they were talking about it all the time. Stanley's response at the time, they didn't care about this market. And they said, well, buy them wholesale. And I think they tried to offer, or they did offer them the minimum order quantity of 10,000. They bought 10,000. They had no idea if they'd be able to sell them, and they sold them within like a week or something like that. I think the second batch of 5,000 sold out within hours because, there was this fear, again, a fear of limited quantities. And that was part of it too. And from there it took off, and they became, I think they partnered up beyond that. And so they're also really part of the story is this, they listened to this mom blog, they listened to these three women, and they helped then guide, and back then there were I don't know what colors they were in originally, but they weren't in these more female friendly colors that they are now, like pinks and so on. But they were still selling out. And then they sort of partnered up on that, and it went to the next level, which is crazy.
Yeah. The other thing I saw too is that children are now getting bullied in schools because some of them, at least for Christmas, that was a huge thing on kids' Christmas lists were Stanley cups. And there were some parents that didn't think it was, worth the hype. And they were like, why does my kid need, this top brand going crazy right now? Why do they need this tumbler? And so they would get them a different cup that was similar, but it was off-brand. And so now kids are getting bullied in schools because they're, owning a cup that's not Stanley brand, but it looks like a Stanley.
Oh, wow.
So there was a mom on TikTok that addressed that, and it got millions of views because, her daughter was getting bullied at schools. And so her kid came home and was super upset, obviously, because she's getting bullied at school. And then the mom felt inclined to go and actually get a Stanley brand so her daughter wouldn't get
bullied.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a massive, I read that it's a massive status symbol in middle school in particular, which is crazy. Obviously it's a huge status symbol for women in their 20s and 30s. We have do you have like Buy Nothing or Gifting with Gratitude Facebook groups in your area? Have you ever heard of that?
Probably. I don't actually really follow along with Facebook anymore, but probably.
So it's essentially like a Goodwill, but within neighbors. So instead of instead of throwing stuff in the garbage, you post it on Facebook to this group of people within your town, and you say like, hey, I have this, do you want it? And sometimes people ask for stuff. Well, a friend of ours posted a Stanley Cup because she can't remember what the reason was, but she didn't need this one. And it got more response and requests. It was hundreds of people asking for this cup. I mean, it was like, again, and these are not kids asking for it. These are adults. And they were like, my whole thing is like, go buy your own cup. But no, they were,
yep.
But it was like this, it has taken people by storm. And I think that's, that a testament to the marketing behind it for sure. So what else can we say about the Stanley Cup? It, beyond this group of mom bloggers was a huge integral part of this. TikTok in particular was a huge part of it. So
definitely influencers all the way. I mean, I was reading things that it was mostly influencers that bumped up the marketing on this, which is crazy because normally, you start a campaign that hooks people. And in this case, it was people posting videos of their everyday lives, taking these tumblers to their workout classes, work. It's a really popular thing amongst nurses. There was a couple of videos on TikTok and Instagram of someone going to class after Christmas, and there were Stanley Cups everywhere in like the classroom.
Yeah, no, I believe it. Yeah. So at one point, so within the last month, one of the articles I said that there was 700 million views on TikTok with the hashtag Stanley Tumbler.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, pretty close to, it's probably at 1 billion now, or certainly approaching that. So that's insane. It's become the culture, but I think the thing to remember is so Yeti's one of the previous like trendy brands. What's yours again?
Hydro Flask.
Hydro Flask. I don't know if that was one of the trendy ones, but that's yours. There's new ones trying to take over this market. Like it's a big market, and part of it I think is a little bit of a greenwashing, thing. Like I care about the environment, and not that people don't, but the thing to remember is these are bad for recycling.
I was going to say that. So I actually have a quote on that too. So the quote is, everyone was supposed to buy one reusable waste bottle 15 years ago and carry it to their grave. Makes sense.
That is good for the environment.
Yeah, but now there's a constant shift in look and the style of these bottles, and people are entering into a constant replacement cycle. And then it says, I'd be surprised if at this point reusable water bottles are accomplishing anything.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. At the very least, they're not accomplishing what you just said, which was buy one and carry, whether it's carry to your grave or at least a decade until you lose it. But now, I mean, we showed that video of the woman with, I don't know, that must have been 50 of them. And if the average person who's loves the Stanley Tumbler has 10, and then a year or 2 or 3 or 4 from now, whatever takes over, and they throw these all out, or they sit in their garage until they're thrown out, or they at some point they're going to end at a landfill, and that's a lot harder to recycle, or maybe impossible. Or maybe they won't be recycled at all.
And I mean, like I said, I've had this for 3 years, and I have dropped this. There are so many dents in it. It's not perfect anymore, but it gets the job done. It keeps stuff cold forever. And I know Stanley Cup does that too. I think I saw a video of someone comparing, it was either Hydro Flask or Yeti to a Stanley Cup, but Stanley Cup didn't keep things as cold as fast or as long because they were putting ice in them and seeing how long it took for them to melt.
Oh, got it. Okay. This is not about, I think everybody that is on this bandwagon is saying that's why. So they're saying it's about being green and it's about, it keeps things super cool. But to be totally honest, how many people put ice in a cup and then care about it still being cold 9 hours later? Most people
100%.
Oh, really? 9 hours later? I would assume.
I absolutely love that. It's awesome because then I don't have to make ice as much because we don't have like an automatic ice maker. So if I make ice, I like it to stay in my water bottle as long as possible. That's why I love it.
Oh, so you'll refill the water though?
Yes.
It won't take you 9 hours. Okay, because I would say for me, if I put something if I am going to drink water, it's gone in 15 minutes. That's, I've decided I'm going to drink it. Certainly it's not going to last past an hour. So, but yeah, maybe people don't, this is so big though. So I guess this could last all day.
So my question is, how long have you had that?
Sky got it about a week ago. I have not consumed from it yet. This is just
okay. It'd be interesting to know if you've taken it around with you. Because I know the other thing people really enjoy about it is being able to stick it in a cup holder in a car, which makes sense because that's one thing that's really annoying with my Hydro Flask is it doesn't fit in a
cup holder. It has this is cup holder friendly part here. For sure. And so who is obsessed with this? So Sky is embarrassed to take it out of the house because she doesn't like doing trends, but Parker, my 8-year-old, is obsessed with it, and he's drinking about it, out of it all the time.
That's so cute.
Because he knows, because they talk about it at school. He saw it as soon as she got it. She was out with her friend at night. The next morning, he saw it and he wanted it, and he wants his own.
And that's the crazy thing with kids too. Is on social media there were tons of posts about kids going crazy because they were getting them for Christmas, and they were crying because they were so excited to finally have their own Stanley Cup.
Right. And so this is a testament to marketing. It's a testament to the way things trend and just, and also it doesn't mean that this wouldn't, if this hadn't taken the trend, it's still, so it went from, what was it, a $73 million company to $750 million company or something like that. And I don't know how many years it was. So let me see if I can find the years here. It was, I have those numbers here. $73 million company in 2019 to $750 million company in 2023. So if it wasn't the trendy one, maybe it would have gone from 73 to 150, and I'm sure they would have been stoked. But the fact that this is the Beanie Baby, the Ugg boots, the Coach purse or whatever, I don't even know what those trends of drinkware. That's why it did that 10x number, and that's why it's transcending into from 8-year-olds to probably 88-year-olds. That's why everybody is talking about it. And how long will it last? I don't know. I give it at least another year.
And I believe that's why Starbucks got involved in the first place, because from what I've heard and seen, I obviously haven't tried it since I don't have Stanley Cup, but you can fit a venti Starbucks drink, iced one, in that cup, just like fit it in there. And so people are using it.
Yeah, you
take
mean
off
like
the lid.
you don't pour it. You just like put it.
Yep, you take off the lid and it fits in there. So maybe you'll have to try that because I'm intrigued to know if that actually works. Because that is that's pretty cool, I would say.
But why?
I don't know, and I think that's why.
So you don't have to wash it.
I guess so. Yeah, I mean, makes sense to me.
Okay.
But I think that's why Starbucks got involved and why Starbucks started doing these limited editions too with Stanley and pairing with them is because I don't think they obviously knew that you could fit a venti iced drink in it from Starbucks. And then I think once they realized that, they were like, ooh, let's pair with Stanley.
Yeah, I mean, and Starbucks likes to be trendy. On a very, very different scale, their paper Christmas cups or holiday cups, those sell out. I know we have a friend who, I don't know if she still works at Starbucks, but she used to work at Starbucks like at least a year or two ago. And people would come and get berate her around Christmas because they needed to have, I think it was, I don't know, which was a red with snowflakes or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And people needed to have this paper cup. So
because they're always unique, aren't they? I thought I saw that it was they have like an artist or something that always does these custom designs. Right.
But those were, I assume, were going in the garbage. So why that mattered?
Yeah, seriously.
Knows? Like it's just, I think, I know it's so that was to put it on Instagram. A lot of this is like to get it on Instagram, to get it on TikTok. I got this thing and I'm gonna throw it in the garbage, but I can point out that I'm trendy, and that's part of the loop. So something starts trendy, people start talking about it, people talk about it too much, it becomes less trendy, something else becomes trendy. So we're in this, they're right at the top, and pretty soon, again, I said maybe popular to 88-year-olds, but as soon as grandma's carrying around, if she can carry it, the Stanley Cup, that trend's going to go away, and new water bottle trend will come in, or whatever that will be. I in some of the articles they were mentioning other brands, I don't remember their names, but one of them apparently is trying to figure out this recycling thing. Like they're going to take them back and recycle them for you. So that's kind of cool. I could see that being the next one.
And I think restaurants and let's say coffee shops and stuff should take this to the next level too. Because when I owned the coffee shop, we would do a discount for people who brought in their reusable cups, especially since, we were wanting to promote that more. Like, bring in your cup, we'll give you a discount and you're not wasting a cup. And since people are taking their Stanleys absolutely everywhere, I think more restaurants and things should start allowing that and doing discounts, because make them use them in other ways.
Right. Or even Starbucks should do their own, like it should be the Starbucks one. So it should be
Can you do that at Starbucks? I don't think I've ever tried that. Can you take a tumbler in and ask them to fill it? I don't think I've ever seen that before.
They should allow it. It would fit with their
They should, message. Especially if they're working with Stanley now. It makes sense.
Right. It would 100% fit like their mission, because they're, very into green and, sustainability and things like that. So for them, it would be amazing.
Which would be interesting too, because people buy so many ice drinks there, and obviously that's a lot of plastic.
Right. So it's a ton of plastic.
Stanley and Starbucks should definitely come up with a plan for that, because.
Right. Yeah, especially if people are buying this plastic cup to either slip it into the Stanley Cup or pour it into the Stanley Cup. They're literally not even using it for the main purpose.
Exactly. Yeah, you're just pouring it in there, and it's like, okay, what's the point? You just
But I could see there being a health department issue of I'm handing you my grubby, my hands have been touching this, I've been drinking out of it. Please now pour something into it and don't contaminate everything else. So that might be the reason why it doesn't work, on a large level, but. They should figure out a way to do it, or they should have like very, very thin plastic something that then you pour in. So, you're going to be using a Stanley or some sort of reusable here. We'll give you this thing. You can't really drink out of it, but it's, this plastic biodegrades super fast.
Or if you had a certain amount of, or like you had, let's say, reusable glass cups or something, and then you just made the drink in there and then poured it into a Stanley cup or something like that. Because that's true on the health department thing. I want to say we always washed the cups when people would hand them to us before we would fill them.
So you washed it.
But that's true too.
That's kind of a nice little added bonus to
Yeah,
get
let
your
us
cup on.
wash your cup for you.
So yeah, so the reason I was super excited about this 3 weeks ago, and the reason why, took us a while to get here to prep for this episode. But again, I keep hearing about it, and I think in marketing we'll be hearing about this for a while longer, and we should just pay attention to. Do you have a plane going overhead?
There's a beetle.
There's a
We
beetle.
always
Okay.
get these like random beetles that'll fly in. Like they're black and they're like this big. They're really annoying. One hit me in the face one time when I was sitting on the couch. They just like I don't know how they get in, but they do. It's not buzzing around now, but it's up there somewhere.
Okay.
So if my cat starts freaking out,
That's fine.
she likes to catch them. So we'll see what happens.
Okay.
Off topic, but
Yeah, no, that's okay. Yeah, so that's why I wanted to talk about it, and I really think it's important to think about the lessons here is the pivot to a different audience, essentially the same product. Obviously, it's evolved a little bit. Certainly the same part of the product that matters the most here, or should matter the most here, which is keeping stuff cold. I don't think that changed at all. Slightly different packaging, slightly different colors, different marketing.
well, and it goes to show too that having people in everyday life show them using your product can make a huge difference on your marketing and the kind of capital you're bringing in for your business.
That's it. That's all about.
And it's so funny because it totally made sense to me when you said the Stanley Cup for like drinkware, because when you mentioned it, I was like, why are we doing a podcast on hockey? I was like wondering if something was going on in the hockey world, because I don't pay attention to it. I was like, okay, maybe I can learn some stuff
Something
on that
from hockey. No, I'm gonna guess we're never gonna do an episode on hockey, but you never know. We'll see. Now that's a challenge to do an episode on hockey.
Yeah.
I'm sure they've got marketing challenges and successes as well. So who knows? Maybe that'll come down the road.
Yeah, this has been a super fun podcast topic, I think.
Yeah, I love doing it. Okay, so other news. So today we're going. My 2024 goal for myself and for the podcast is to get this podcast on a regular schedule. So we're going to try to release on Fridays. We're recording this on the last Friday in January. We've got a couple backlogged. We got two interviews with other folks that have to be released, or maybe this will go in between those two. I don't know. So I don't know what week in February it's going to come out, but we've got this backlog of stuff that's been recorded, and we're going to try to release on Friday. So that's my hopeful promise to everybody. My other thing that I'm playing around with is, again, most people are watching this on YouTube. If you're still here, listening to this, and you're on YouTube, maybe give us a thumbs up, follow us. That would be great.
Let us know what you think about your Stanley Cup.
Yeah. Let us know what you think about your Stanley Cup, and let me know what you think about the new cover photos, because I'm playing around with that. I know I've mentioned on previous episodes that I'm very intrigued by Mr. Beast and what he's doing. I've also been paying attention to Gary Vee. He's a sort of marketing expert, a lot on YouTube and elsewhere, and a lot of conversation just about the cover, the thumbnail cover photos. And so we switched it up a little bit. So this one will probably,
super fun.
I don't know what color this one will have, but the previous one was yellow. Maybe we'll switch them off to different colors. Maybe this one will be pink. Maybe it'll
You should
come
just
around.
stick a bunch of Stanley Cups on the cover photo.
Yeah. So we're playing around with that. The content within here is going to stay the same, but those are going to change to see what we can do as far as getting more of you to listen and watch. And so that's one of the things we're doing. And what else is going on? I guess that's it. Oh, Madison's still been posting on, a little more success on TikTok, playing around with different types of shorts. That'll probably come to YouTube as well soon. This has just been a fun experiment for us, and I hope you are all enjoying it. And hopefully we will see you next Friday. I don't know what the next one will be, but how the order of these are going to switch around and stuff. But again, the goal is to have it be a little bit more consistent.
Or if you have ideas that you want us to talk about for marketing things, let us know.
That'd be great. Or if you want to be interviewed, let us know too, because that's what we're gonna have to record twice as many episodes this year if we do that. So we're gonna need to come up with different topics and talk to different people. So,
well, cool.
So thank you so much. We will see you next week, and I hope you enjoy this episode about this guy, the Stanley Tumbler. Which again, my arm, I really feel like it's a good workout because it's got to be 3 pounds. So
that's crazy. See, I don't know. That just seems so weird to me.
Well, it's 40 ounces, so it's between 2 and 3 pounds. But yeah, it's heavy.
Yeah.
So thanks so much, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Bye.
See you in the next episode.